We're in Divine Love and Wisdom, and it's a companion to Divine Providence, is what I left off yesterday. And let's see, I understand that Trump fired Tillerson, the Secretary of State, and hired a female person. I don't know what the name is offhand. If any of you guys know, just leave me a comment. Listen, I just want to make one more comment about the ketosis type diet, like the shepherd's diet that I mentioned many moons back. Please be responsible for yourself when you do different things to your body. Make sure you talk to a doctor, that you're okay, and that that you can start something a little different for yourself, and that you're in good health, and that sort of thing before you do something drastic. Any kind of change, you should always get a second opinion, and do your own research, do your own homework. So I'm just putting out this, again, another disclaimer, if you will. I did not like the shepherd's diet. I'm going to say that now because I found out it was actually a ketosis type of diet. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Where you just cut out sugars and flour and, bread, and you don't have too much of the carbs. You just have like for me, I just do it like I just use my hand, for size. But you have more satiating fats in your diet, like avocado and real butter and, hummus, or, but just a little bit. You don't need a lot to satiate you through your day, and let your body use the fats to burn off. I lost a total of 22 pounds, and I've been able to keep it off. I would like to lose more, but I'm just not right now into doing something like that. I'm more interested in working on my music, and I have other things going on. So I did it for health reasons, of course, and to get some weight off my hip, because my hip was killing me. I have arthritis as well, all over, and so yeah. Anyway, so that's okay. So I just wanted to. Anybody who's starting something new, please be responsible. Okay. All right. So we left off in Swedenborg's The Divine Love and Wisdom, and let me just start by reading this here. Whereas Swedenborg's previous works were written for people of simple heart and simple faith, that is to say, for the masses rather than the church leaders or the intelligentsia, Divine Love and Wisdom seems to have geared toward a more scholarly audience, using terminology aimed more at philosophers than theologians. Throughout the book, Swedenborg makes only minimal reference to the Bible, instead of appealing to reason, experience, and the laws of the physical world as authorities. Because of this more general approach, Divine Love and Wisdom has historically held a special appeal for artists and philosophically inclined. For example, the poet William Blake, who was born in 1757 and passed away in 1827, was so inspired by reading Divine Love and Wisdom that he attended one of the early meetings of the church in New Jerusalem, only to be disillusioned by organizers who focused on Swedenborg's more biblical-oriented works. Divine Love and Wisdom starts with the proposition that God is, in essence, both love itself and life itself. Humans on earth and angels in heaven are all the recipients of that love, and therefore are all alive, albeit in different states of being. Swedenborg describes God as being human, not in the stereotypical sense of a bearded old man in the sky looking down on his creation, but in the sense that God's love and wisdom are the source of human love and wisdom, which are what make us all truly human. God is omnipresent throughout all creation while existing outside of time and space. There are levels to creation, writes Swedenborg, with the most perfect levels approaching God and the lowest level in hell. These levels of creation also exist inside of us, and it is possible for those levels to open to the Lord, thus elevating us and expanding our spiritual lives. This process can continue after death, with angels perfecting themselves and moving eternally towards God. Evil spirits, on the other hand, reject God's love and make their home in hell. In the following excerpt, Swedenborg tackles nothing less than the nature of God, how God is present in all things and all times without being present in space, how he is in essence love and wisdom, yet human in form, and how everything in the universe reflects the divine essence. Love is our life. For most people, the existence of love is a given, but the nature of love is a mystery. As for the existence of love, this we know from everyday language. We say that someone loves us, that monarchs love their subjects, that the subjects love their monarch. We say that a husband loves his wife, and that a mother loves her children, and vice versa. And we say that people love their country, their fellow citizens, their neighbor. We use the same language about impersonal objects, saying that someone loves this or that thing. Even though the word love is so commonly on our tongues, still hardly anyone knows what love is. And when we stop to think about it, we find that we cannot form any image of it in our thought. So we say either that it is, or not really anything, or that it is simply something that follows into us from our sight, our hearing, our touch, conversation, and therefore influences us. We are wholly unaware that it is our very life, not just the general life of our whole body and all of our thoughts, but the life of their every least detail. Wise people can grasp this when you ask, if you take away the effects of love, can you think anything? Can you do anything? As the effects of love lose their warmth, do not the thought and speech and action lose theirs as well? Do they not warm up as love warms up? Still, the grasp of these wise people is not based on the thought that love is our life, but on their experience that this is how things happen. We cannot know that our life is unless we know that it is love. If we do not know this, then one person may believe that life is nothing but sensation and action, and another that it is thought, when in fact thought is the first effect of life, and sensation and action are secondary effects of life. Thought is the first effect of life, as just noted, but there are deeper and deeper forms of thought, as well as more and more superficial ones. And the deepest form of thought and the perceptions of ends is actually the first effect of life. But more on this below in the connection with levels of life. We can get some idea that love is our life from the warmth of the sun in our world. We know this warmth acts like the life shared by all Earth's plants, because when it increases in the spring, plants of all kinds sprout from the soil. They dress themselves in their leafy finery, and then in their bosoms, and eventually in fruit. And this is how they live. When the warmth ebbs away, though, it does as it does in fall and winter, they are stripped of these signs of life, and they wither. Love works the same way in us, because love and warmth correspond to each other. This is why love makes us warm. God alone, the Lord, is love itself, because he is life itself. Both we on earth and angels are life receivers. I will be offering many illustrations of this in works on divine providence and life. Here I would say only that the Lord, who is the God of the universe, is uncreated and infinite, while we and angels are created and finite. Since the Lord is uncreated and infinite, he is that essential reality that is called Jehovah, and is life itself, or life in itself. No one can be created directly from the uncreated, the infinite from reality itself and life itself, because what is divine is one and, reality itself and life itself, because what is divine is one and undivided. We must be created out of things and create and finite things so formed that something divine can dwell within. Since we and angels are of this nature, we are life receivers. So if we let ourselves be misled in thought so badly that we think we are not life receivers but are actually life, there's no way to keep us from thinking that we are God. Our sense that we are life and our consequent belief that we are life rest on an illusion. It is an instrumental cause. The presence of its principal cause is only felt as something identical to itself. The Lord himself teaches that he is life in itself in John. As the Father has life in himself, so too he has granted the Son to have life in himself. John 5:26. Again in John 11:25 and 14:6, he teaches that he is life itself, since life and love are one and the same. And we can see from the first two sections above, it follows that the Lord, being life itself, is love itself. It is to be intelligible, though it is essential to realize that the Lord, being love in its very essence, or divine love, is visible to angels in heaven as a sun. The warmth and light flow from that sun, and the outflowing warmth is essential love, and the outflowing light essential wisdom, and that to the extent that angels are receptive of the spiritual warmth and spiritual light, they themselves are instances of love and wisdom. Instances of love and wisdom are not their own, but from the Lord. Spiritual warmth and spiritual light flow into and affect not only angels, but also us, precisely to the extent that we become receptive. Our receptivity develops in proportion to our love for the Lord and our love for our neighbor. The sun itself, or divine love, cannot use its warmth and light to create anyone directly from itself. If it did, the creature would be love in its essence, which is the Lord himself. It can, however, create people out of material substance so formed as to be receptive of its actual warmth and light. In the same way, the sun of our world cannot use its warmth and light to bring forth sprouts in the earth directly. Rather, the sun uses substance in the soil in which it can present through its warmth and light to make plants grow. On the Lord's divine love being seen as the sun in spiritual world, our spiritual warmth and light flowing from it, giving angels their love and wisdom. You can see that in heaven and hell. Since we are life receivers, not life, it follows that our conception from our parents is not the conception of life, but simply the conception of the first and purest forms that can accept life. These forms serve as a nucleus, or beginning in the womb, to which are added step by step material substances in forms suited, in their various patterns and levels, to the reception of life. Divinity is not in space, given the divine omnipresence, presence with everyone in the world, with every angel in heaven. Oh, I went overboard. Okay. 77.